Okay, folks, welcome to Michael's Backyard Marina. Well, what I'm doing today is I have a sneaky suspicion that my distributor here is not in the right position. The motor runs, but referring to the book, I was noticing that the number one spark plug wire is not in the right spot because I wired it up according to the book, and it had a lot of back popping through the carburetor. The other day when I was trying to start it, did some research, did a little looking around, rearranged the plug wires, got it to run. But the number one and the number two, the number one is in the number two position on the distributor cap, so that's not right. So what I'm going to do today, right now, is I'm going to get that corrected. I have to find top dead center on my number one piston, which is up front, number one cylinder. So what I'm doing is I'm cheating a little bit. I got my compression tester on here. I'm going to rotate the motor over via this pulley, pry bar, and until I see this cylinder come up and give me a little bit of pressure. It's a slow process, but I've got all the spark plugs out, so it turns over relatively easy, except for the one that has the compression. And as soon as I see that one come up with a little pressure, I know I'm near top dead center. And once there you see that needle starting to move? I don't know if that was it or not. Should have been it. Hang on. We'll keep going. We should get almost 30 pounds worth of compression once I get it wheeled past that cylinder. There it goes. See that? She moved right there. Now I see a timing mark on my flywheel is about where it needs to be. I'm going to bring it up to 0. I don't know if you folks can see this. I'll bring it around. See if I can get that show up for you. There's my timing mark. You can see a little line right there on the pulley. And here's my little timing mark set there. There's like there's a 0, a 4, and 8 degrees. And I believe this thing's supposed to be timed at idle at 8 degrees before top dead center. So I'll do a little more referring to the book. We'll get a timing light on it. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this on up to the 0 mark on the pulley. That should be top dead center. Now if everything is right, let's see if I can get this in the shot here. The distributor rotor cap should be pointing to here, which is my number one. Let's see, this is number 1. This is 2, 3, 4. And it's supposed to be rotating clockwise if you're looking down on it. I'm suspecting it's going to be here. Sure enough, it is. So that tells me somebody's had this distributor out before at some point in time and put it back in the wrong spot. So what I'm going to do is take the distributor, pick it up, rotate that around and drop it back into a gear so it is pointing in the right position. So that the rotor is pointing at the number 1 distributor cap plug wire. And then once I get that back in place, I'll feel better because then at least it matches the book. It didn't seem to hinder how it ran as far as the firing order. It fired just fine, but it's not right. I need to make it right. So, stay tuned. I'm going to go get a couple of wrenches and see if I can't get that distributor to pop up out of there a little bit and get that rotor in the right position. Okay folks, I'm back. I've got the distributor clamp bolt and clamp removed, so I can move this distributor, pick it up. Want to be able to, I need to move this. It's pointing about to what I'd call from the straight on perpendicular to the block. I'd call it about 4:30, 5 o'clock position. It's maybe about 4 o'clock. I need it to be up here about 2 o'clock. And so what I'm going to do is try to attempt to lift this distributor up. I haven't moved it at all yet. And see if I can't get this thing back into a position so that the number 1 cylinder is where it belongs. I have misplaced, there it is, a screwdriver. I want to make a little scratch mark here just for fun. So once I get this thing back in position, I can actually have it, because the timing wasn't bad. Just spark plug rotation was wrong. So if I put a little mark right there, I doubt you can see that, but I put a little mark there. So when I pick this thing up, oh wow, that's not going to just pick up, is it? That's pretty darn tight. Let's see if I can get a little leverage on it. Get it to move. Oh, wow, that popped right out. There it is, there's the distributor. Loose and free. Now what you gotta be careful of, it's gotta fall back down, because it also drives the oil pump is driven off of that. So I gotta get this back in the position where it was about there. Like I said, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. See if I can get this thing to... Yeah, I think I'm lacking being in the oil pump now. So what I got to do, I believe, is get this thing up. The oil pump is pointing in a direction that's not the same direction as my drive. So I know about this position is the position I need to be in. About there. And the slot is pointing this way. So I'm going to see if I can't reach in down in there with a screwdriver into my oil pump. Rotate that around so it's approximately the right direction. Let's see here. I'm supposed to be about here, about here. Looks like that should be pretty close. We'll try it. Looks like I'm off about a tooth here. Let's go up and let's see here. There's my little mark. That looks about right. I think it could actually be this way a little bit further. Because once I put the cap back on, see, the cap's going to sit like this, and I need it to be right here. So I can see that's off about a tooth at least. So let's see if I can get that. I'll get the center back up here in the picture a little bit better. So I'm going to pick this up. Let's see if I can go over one more tooth. See, about there is where it should be. Now I'm not back in the oil pump again. Yeah, because this whole thing's not going down deep enough. Yeah, that's the exact position I want it in. Because I believe that would point right at... Yeah, that's pointing... Yeah, actually a little too far past. Let's see here, I think that's, whoops, get my cap back on here. Let's see if I can't. I think that's the only choices I've got, is either that or that, but I can, nice thing is this distributor will rotate around until I get my position that I need it in. It's got a lot of room for movement there. I'll put this back to where it was. So I can still think that should be around a little further. Yeah. 'Cause that's firing somewhere in here, and that's too far. But I think my next choice is just a little too far the other way. See, there's the next tooth over. Ooh, that seems like to be the right spot. Now if I can just get the sneaky little oil pump drive in the right spot. So it looks like I'm going to be about right there. When I come down, it's going to be rotated around just, wow. Let's go. That bad boy about right there. If you look down that hole, it's just looks like a screwdriver slot. That's all it is. But it engages, it does a lot of work down there. Let's see here. Ooh, that fell right in. Look at that. Look at that. That's right there. About 2 o'clock. If I put this back on there, go back to where I had my little marks marked, that should get me really close. Look at that. That's right there, pointing in the right spot. I'm excited about that. Now the firing order should be right. It'll be, I think this is a 1, fires 1, 3, 4, 2. So this is 1, this will go to number 3 cylinder, this will go to number 4 cylinder, and this will go to number 2 cylinder. So 1, 3, 4, 2. My number 1 was here. Now it's going to be here where it belongs. You look in the manual, that's where it shows it's at. When it's off by 1 plug all the way around, you get fire shooting back out of the carburetor because your timing and your firing isn't lined up. So yeah, I'm going to put this back together now. I'm going to put this clamp back in where it belongs. And it's a tough one to get in there. I mean, not tough, but they don't have a lot of wrench movement because it's a, I'll take this out of my way. I got the dipstick pulled out right now just because it was easier to get another little bit of turn on my wrench with it out of the way. So I'm going to get that snug back down. I'm not going to tighten it all the way down. I'm going to have it just tight enough because I'm going to want to be able to move this thing back and forth when it's time to set my timing. So we'll come back to that. When it's time to set the timing, we'll show you how I'm going to do that with my timing light. And once I get my new wires on it, I'm pretty excited to hear this thing fire up. Thank you. Stay tuned. Be back in a second.